Hello everybody, it's your boy Sheyi Shalom, and today, guess what? I will be teaching you all how to make the Nigerian jollof. And don't mind the way I'm dressing today. This is just the only time I have to show my informality. You know, I'm in my kitchen about to cook, and not to waste much of our time, let me show you all some of the ingredients that I use that works for me whenever I'm cooking my own Nigerian jollof. I mean, this is my own recipe. Everybody has his own recipe, but this is the one that I use that works for me. So very quickly, let me show you all some of the ingredients. Today I'll be using 2 red bell pepper. You see, I like it very red, very ripe. I'll be using 2 Scotch bonnet peppers. It's called atarodo in Nigeria. This shouldn't get into your eyes, man. I'll be using 4 pieces of tomatoes. I like it very ripe, as you can see. I'll be using 2 red onions or purple onions, whatsoever you call it. I don't like the white ones, you know. It doesn't taste so well with me. I'll be using 2 bay leaves, maybe 2 or 3 in this case. I'll be using thyme, dried thyme, and this is exactly the exact brand that my mom uses in Nigeria. I will be using the tomato paste. This time I'm using the Aunt tomato paste, just in case you want to buy the exact type. I'll be using the Knorr seasoning. This is very popular in Nigeria, but you can also find it in Fiesta or Walmart, whatsoever the case may be. I will be using grounded crayfish. You can see it, very neat, grounded crayfish. And of course, I will be using the rice. This is the rice. This is the brand that I use, the parboiled rice. And of course, I might be using the grounded pepper. It's called the atagungun. Okay, alright, so people, this is the first thing I do. I try to wash my rice very well to make sure the water clears out. This is just to remove as much as possible starch from the rice. So I scrub my rice, you know, change the water as often as possible until the water clears off. Alright guys, now that the rice is washed, I like to cook it for about 15 minutes because I'll be parboiling it. So I'll put my rice in the pot for it to be parboiled for about 15 minutes. So while we're waiting for the rice to get done, we're going to blend the red pepper into the tomatoes and the Scotch bonnet pepper. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright guys, so now I'm blending the pepper. So it's advisable for you to add a little water just to enhance the blending. So alright, so let's just wait and let's see what's gonna happen. So now we blended it. Alright, so right now I'm trying to dice to cut my onions. I forgot to tell you all, I used 1 onions. I blended 1 onions, you know, with the tomatoes, and the rest of the 1 onion I'm going to fry that, you know, in the boiling oil, just to make my tomato sauce, you know. All right, so let's get it started. You cut it very well. You want to make sure it's properly sliced, you know. People don't like to use the red onions because, you know, they don't like the way it gets into their eyes and makes them cry, you know. But if you've been staying in the kitchen with your mom for a long while, you know, you're already used to this. Alright, so you cut this properly. This is parboiled. I'm going to pour it right here into the sink, you know, just to make sure the water gets out, the excess water gets out. So the tomato paste is ready, and I have my thyme, my blended pepper, so I'm about to fry the tomatoes, the tomato sauce. Okay, so today I'm going to use the canola oil. Sometimes I like to use the mozzarella, the corn oil, you know, just because of just to be healthy anyway. So but today I'll be using the canola oil because I like the smell of it. So now that your onion is properly fried, just a little, not to fry to the point where, you know, it gets dried out, just half dried. Now that it's fried, you want to put your tomato paste. Now use a small spoon so to get into it properly. So you put your tomato paste into it. So after you put your tomato paste, you want to stir continuously to make sure it's mixed up together. So you stir your tomato paste together with the onions and the frying oil. Alright people, so now that you've allowed the tomato paste and the onions to fry properly, as you can see the way it looks, it's changed colors. By doing this, you've allowed the sour taste of the tomato, you know, to cook properly. I don't know how to explain that anyway, don't mind me. Alright, so right now what I'm about to do is I'm going to pour the pepper mixture that was blended earlier on. That's the tomato, the onions, the scotch bonnet pepper, you know, and the real bell pepper. Alright, so I'm going to put that now. I'm going to do that gently, just to, I don't like splash all over my oven. You're going to stir continuously for about 30 seconds. Alright people, so now that I've allowed this to cook a little bit, now is the time for me to add the seasoning. So right now I'm going to add a little bit of thyme, just a little, as much as you want to suit the taste. So it's a little bit of thyme. I love thyme a lot, so that's why I'm doing this. So that's as much time I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add about 3 bay leaves. About 3, 1, 2, and 3. About to add I'm gonna add a no seasoning. So we add like 2 spoons of this. 1 and 2. I'm gonna add a little bit of crayfish. Yeah, just 1 spoon of this. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt because this seasoning already contains, you know, some salt. But I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. This little. I don't like too much salt. It's not good for the body. So I'm gonna mix continuously. Stir it continuously for about 20 seconds. Let's stir it together for about 20 seconds. So I'm gonna lower the cooker a little while, like halfway through, just to make sure so right now I'm gonna cover it for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna cover it for about 5 minutes after mixing. And done. So right now I'm gonna put my rice. I'm gonna put the rice. Let me reduce this a little bit. I don't like the splash of the pepper. I'm gonna put my rice in there. You wanna reduce the cooker. Oh, my white is stained. Shouldn't have used the white shirt. Okay. You wanna pour this in there. Okay. Now we've poured the parboiled rice into the pepper mix. I mean, I like to parboil my rice. Some people don't like to do that. You know what I mean? Everybody has his own recipe. This is my own style. This is the way I get my Nigerian jollof done. So I put this back into the zinc and stir the rice properly. You want to stir it this way so it doesn't get burnt. You stir it this way gently. Oh, thank goodness. The splash has reduced. I got my whole singlet stained. Please don't concentrate on my body, concentrate on the food. Okay? So, you want to stir it properly. Oh, when our dogs wake against the wall, you see it changing color gradually changing color. This is exactly what makes, you know, The jollof rice jollof. Hey. Oh. Now this is making me remember my mom. I'm missing home, man. I'm missing home, seriously. If I was home, my mom would be doing this for me. But right now in America, I have to do this by myself. Okay? So you mix properly. You take your time. Jollof rice requires a lot of patience, okay? Don't rush it. I like to use the spatula because it's easier for me. You can use spoon if you want. You don't have to do, the cooking exactly the way I did it. I did mine. So after you've done the stirring properly, you want to test it to see if the rice is properly softened. So of course not, because we didn't cook it. We only did the parboiled cook for the rice. So I'm going to add some water. I'll have some water in here. Now this is where you want to be careful. You don't want to add excess water. So just add little water. Now this should be enough. So you want to cover the rice to get it all steamed up for about 15 minutes. So let's wait for about 15 minutes. On already. So right now I'd like to taste it to see if the texture of the rice has softened a little bit. Not so. It's still, the rice is still a little bit strong. So I'm gonna mix it a little bit from the lower part. Make sure the spatula doesn't get to the end of the pot. Just a little bit lower, so you don't scrape the burnt part of the rice. So also I like to add a little bit of water. Just a little bit. At this point, we don't need too much water to cook the rice anymore. We just need the steam. So I'm going to also reduce the stove to about 1/4, just so the steam could cook the rice. And I stir it a little bit more. This is what we call the jollof rice. Nigerian jollof. This is way better than Ghanaian jollof, of course. Especially when it's Chef Sheyi Shalom. There are a lot of things I could do. I can cook. Wow. The aroma is so enticing. So, after staying for a little bit, I'm going to leave the rice for about 10 more minutes. Alright, let's wait. We are back to the final check. This time around we're going to see if the texture of the rice is properly softened. So I'm going to test it right now to see what we've got. This tastes really good. Trust me, this is the best Nigerian jollof you can ever get. Especially when it's coming from me, Chef Sheyi Shalom. The aroma is so enticing. So, our jollof rice is ready to be served. But there's something about jollof rice, ladies and gentlemen. It is never complete without the presence of plantain. Yeah, this is what plantain looks like. It is called dodo in Nigeria. So, I'm gonna serve my rice, fry my plantain, and have a delicious delicacy as dinner. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's lecture on how to make a proper Niger jollof. So I will call this Jollof 101. So see you next time for more wonderful videos from Chef Sheyi Shalom. Bye bye.